But you know, she's resilient. She adjusted to life in long-term care. She carried on playing a lot of crib and bingo, and she settled in. But you know what happened after that? COVID. And so all of those familiar activities were gone. All of the visits that she was enjoying with family up until that time had ended. And this was in BC. And there were so many weeks on end when she was required to stay in her room. And it took a toll. We watched her kind of diminish a little bit before our eyes during the 30-minute Zoom call we could have with her once a week when everyone was, locked down. So when July of last summer came around, she was so happy, and so were we, to be around her as a family. Mom passed away 2 weeks after her 95th birthday, sort of the end of August. And what we learned was just how that depression can affect anybody, even people who are pretty resilient. So what contributes to mental health, depression, anxiety in aging adults? Well, you can imagine it's a lot of those losses and change. Sometimes it involves just changes in our life, in our space, where we've had to move from our house to an apartment, to retirement community, now to long-term care. We are displaced. We are lonely. We maybe don't see our family as much as we'd like, or as much as they'd like. It's just what happens with real life. And how do we see signs, perhaps, of this depression happening for our loved one? Well, people can become a little more withdrawn, right? Quiet, not answering the phone, not talking as much. They lose appetite sometimes. The fridge can be empty or food spoiled. Perhaps medications aren't taken at all, or they're taken inappropriately. So what can we do as adult children, as family members, as we see these signs, these things taking place in our loved one's life? Well, we can join with them, make that connection to encourage a medical appointment, encourage our person to go to a doctor to be checked out to make sure there's nothing medical that could be corrected or that needs to be addressed, or make appointments for them, and if we are local, go with them, right? Accompany them to those things. We can invite them to do activities that they used to really enjoy, because we've seen over time how they've lost interest. So maybe with some encouragement and some being intentional as family, we can encourage those things to happen again, and to maybe invite them to teach us how to do that particular hobby or craft. We can create routines with our loved one, whether it's the weekly family dinner in person or virtually, or even a phone call. Just knowing that those things are happening on a regular basis gives a senior hope and encouragement, something to look forward to. Often we see in our work that family are either living far away or they live in town, but they're busy with their own families and their own kids and grandkids. You might consider hiring a care professional who is skilled at that one-on-one connection, providing companionship and engagement and encouragement to help with practical things in the home, but also to encourage the doing of the things that brought that person joy, so that they still feel like they're able to do things and they can have the feeling of being as independent as possible for as long as possible.